Dear Grace, today will be a little bit different because I forgot to check the battery levels on my phone and I can only record audio. So what I'll do is the video is going to be just some examples of my handwriting. And maybe whatever else I can fit in there. I may still do the news, you just won't be able to see it. However, I thought some more about the AI and how it can help doctors, patients, everyone. I already mentioned this, but the biggest thing is once the person can trust the AI, the more honest they are about their lifestyle, the easier and faster the system could help them. And also, if AI does all the petty work that doctors are doing now, that gives the doctors more time for those patients who really want the hands-on experience. And then maybe instead of talking to them once a week, we'll talk to them 2 times a week or 3 times a week, or get them into a program, a week-long program where every day it's heavy counseling. Although I suspect here's an example of the difference between what a doctor can do and what an AI can do. So a doctor can ask you how much screen time you use or have in a week, and then they take that number and make a determination of the value of that time. So if you say you spend 80 hours a week watching TV, Netflix, and YouTube, that seems like a large number. But what if it's 80 hours of watching lectures on YouTube? Lectures about a subject you're interested in. Or goofy videos about a subject you're interested in. So a doctor just assumes that all those hours, because it's outside the normal, is bad. Like it's any of their fucking business. However, the AI, not only would AI tell you the 80 hours, it could tell you everything the person watched. It could then go and analyze everything the person watched. I don't believe in triggers, but for those that do, AI could go through all that material and find out certain triggers that affected or will affect the person because they believe in them. So it's not the hours that's the big deal. It's the content. If it's 80 hours of porn, sure, that's probably a problem. But 80 hours of cats? Okay, it's still a problem. How about... It doesn't matter. And like I said yesterday, if everything's recorded, the AI can summarize and simplify. And a doctor can't do that. A doctor can't watch the 80 hours that you watched and think, fuck, if I watched 80 hours of whatever, that would probably mess up my brain. They can't do that because they don't analyze that far, because they don't care, or they don't have the time, whichever. I think they care, I don't think they have the resources. It's also made a note about autism. Saying autism is about understanding your sensitivities, where they come from, how to manage them to feel normal. And I'm not saying anyone who identifies with autism has all these sensitivities, but I think a lot do. To light, to sound, to touch, heat, pain, hyperactive mind. If you're going to go through all of that every single day and not be able to manage 6 different symptoms, your day's going to suck. For me, I found fasting plus breaks are a little quieter today. Maybe they finally read my email about the squeaky trains. I doubt it, but anyway, fasting for me is a way to get down to your base level of existence. For me, anyway. It takes a while until you can fast for days or weeks, but once you can, there's a certain let me backtrack. At first, years ago, when I learned how to fast, I noticed that after a couple of days, you can get a little bit loopy, but it goes away. And the more often you do it, the less likely you get to that loopy stage. And you just go straight into what I call feeling normal. So for me, feeling normal is waking up from a reasonable night of sleep. I'm not hungry or thirsty. I have no desire to eat. And I realize that if I do eat, it's my choice. But more importantly, why I like that feeling of sort of baseline is then you can experiment. Now, luckily for the last 7 or 8 years, I've been able to experiment as much as I want. But as an example, very simple. Coffee. At this point, I can't tell if coffee is psychosomatic or not. I don't necessarily feel any more awake with it. But I do enjoy the taste. I think it's more of a habit than a requirement to wake up. At one point, I could feel the hyperactivity or maybe energy boost, but not anymore. So my approach, my logic is this. If you can do it, try it, and then start experimenting. Try whatever you want. Try going with nothing but coffee for a couple of days, and then no coffee for a couple of days. And then record your thoughts and feelings into Tabitha. You start making Tabitha the app. This is Dave's Scripts, Scraps, and Apps. And in fact, if Tabitha existed as an app, the only decision you really have to make is, what am I going to experiment with today? Food itself can be, or it is, a drug. Whereas it should be nourishment. But of course, most people don't have access to the freedom it takes to completely live your life the way you want to live it. Once you have that, it's hard to look at life any other way. That's physical fasting, but then you can also mentally fast. You just mentally stop absorbing or watching or partaking in activities that serve you no purpose. I watch a lot of videos of bad cops. I know there's a lot of good ones out there, but there's a lot who just don't understand basic, not only if it's in the US, constitutional rights, but just basic human rights. And a bunch of them are very scared of cameras. Anyways, I watch those videos because they piss me off a little bit. It's a problem. It needs to fucking change. However, there's nothing I can do about it. But watching those videos does affect my thought processes. Although in my case, encourages me, because a lot of the videos now show cops actually knowing what the First Amendment auditor is doing and respecting their rights to a degree. But they still have the need to, as the auditors say, give directives. They can't just say, yep, it's your right, see ya. No, it has to be, yeah, it's your right, but please don't do this, please don't do that. And it's just bullshit. However, I understand that's their job to a degree, but I think their actual job is educating both sides. So I watch those videos on purpose. Because I need to get a little riled up in the morning. Otherwise I just lie in bed all day. When I watch those videos, I'm like, A, this is wrong. B, this is stupid. And C, I wish I could do something about it. But I can't. There's always someone in their backyard blowing something. I mean, technically you don't have to fast to experiment. But you do want consistency in your day, so you can tell the difference it makes. What difference does coffee make or not make? What difference does watching those videos make or not make? And then just keep adding on. The problem is there's just so many things. The guy in the background cutting something in his backyard. The heat of the sun, brightness of the sun. Now all I can hear is that fucking noise. So I'm gonna read some news, Grace, until he stops whatever the fuck he's doing. OpenAI destroyed a trove of books used to train AI models. The employees who collected the data are gone. Yeah, well, that's to be expected. Tesla exec quits, trashes company. Consciousness could hinge on how your brain handles metals, scientists say. Raging solar storm could turn Northern Lights into a BC-wide show. Tesla versus Mercedes self-driving test ends in 40-plus interventions as Elon Musk says FSD is years ahead. Priest 82 and retired teacher 85 smash case holding copy of Magna Carta in environmental protest. A priest and a retired teacher. There's got to be a joke there somewhere. There's a hole in the ocean and scientists have yet to find its bottom. Jack Dorsey says he quit Blue Sky because it was becoming another Twitter. Oh, what? Free speech? First of its kind prehistoric monument is found in France. "800 protesters attempt to storm German Tesla factory." What the fuck are they protesting about? Expansion of the factory near Berlin would damage environment. You know what? There isn't a single fucking building that would damage the environment. The world is fucking huge. There's more than enough room for a factory. I'm pretty sure Elon or Leon knows how to follow the fucking regulations. Protesters are just seeking attention. Video. Robo erectus. W1 quadruple robot evolves to stand and walk upright. AI systems are already skilled at deceiving and manipulating humans, study shows. So there you go. We just need to have it manipulate us in the right way. Or we manipulate it and tell it what we want it to do. Like study all this data. Elon Musk Starlink satellites disrupted by major solar storm. Mysterious objects in sky could be giant Dyson sphere, scientists say. A new evolutionary tree of flowers for spring. Ancient Egyptian structure discovered near Giza pyramids. Solid state polymer heat pump gets rid of the heat itself. This story's finding a way to make that fucking thing louder. Easy one-word trick that instantly catches out AI voice clones so they never raid your bank account. Human rights lawyer Susie Allager. If AI is so complex, it can't be explained. If AI is so complex it can't be explained, there are areas where it shouldn't be used. Well, it can be explained. The author of Human Rights, Robot Wrongs. Jesus. The author of Human Rights, Robot Wrongs on why AI isn't an all or nothing equation, separating hype from genuine dangers, and discovering that ChatGPT says she doesn't exist. Aww, she got butthurt. Susie is an international human rights lawyer and author, originally from the Isle of Man, whose focus in recent years has been on technology and impact on human rights. Yeah, that guy's fucking doing that right beside a park too. It's fucking annoying. I wanted to wear earplugs, but I didn't bring any. And wearing earplugs is a little tricky too, because then you get into basically a different mode. Alright, what prompted you to write this book? I'm just talking really fucking loud over that fucking thing. How fucking long does it take to cut every fucking weed in your back fucking yard? Well, I think by some fucking miracle, he's finally done with his backyard. But we'll see. If I'm ever in the backyard for an hour on a Saturday, weed whacking and cleaning it, there's gotta be something wrong in my life. So if we're together, Grace, and that happens, ask Tabitha what the fuck's wrong, because that would be out of character. So you give a shit less about a backyard, what it looks like. And I'd be surprised if we even have a backyard for a few years at least. So what the fuck do I know? Normally, I have everything in my backpack that I need to handle things like noisy guy or extra sunny day, sunglasses, earbuds, listen to music, the hoodie in case I get cold, a notebook in case I have a brilliant idea that I need to write down. And a hoodie if I get cold, and a rain jacket and a poncho. But I don't bring that with me everywhere. It's more like if I'm expecting it to be noisy. If I thought that guy was going to spend 20 minutes weed walking, I probably wouldn't have come here. However, it seems like he's done now, and I'll go back to the news because I can't think of what else to say. Except for AI could solve a lot of fucking issues. People would stop freaking out about it. Alright, let's see. What prompted you to write this book? There were two triggers. One was the sudden explosion of ChatGPT and the narrative about how everyone can be a novelist now and there's going to be no need for human creators because AI will be able to do it all for us. It felt utterly depressing. That's only because you didn't realize that AI can't just write a novel. I mean, it can, but it would suck. It still needs an outline. It still needs some sort of human interaction. Now, if you can feed an outline into it and it creates a novel, and it's pretty accurate to the outline, I'm not sure that's a bad thing. I just don't think it'd be very interesting. But it's nothing to fucking worry about. The second was a story about a Belgian man who took his own life after a 6-week intensive relationship with an AI chatbot. His widow felt that without this relationship, which distorted his worldview, he would have still been there for her and for his children. That triggered me to think, well, this is absolutely about the right to life, to families, life, to freedom of thought and freedom from manipulation. And how are we thinking about AI in the really severe ways that is impacting our human rights? Well, if he had a 6-week intensive relationship with an AI chatbot, obviously there was something in his life he wasn't happy with. That doesn't have anything to do with AI. That has to do with the shitty psychological system we have out there. You don't give much credence to the threat of an AI apocalypse. I think that's a distraction. What we need to be worried about is putting limits on how AI can be developed, sold, and used by people. And ultimately, there are people behind the technology in the design phase, and particularly in the marketing, and also how the choices that are being made. So shit, this is poorly written. Nothing to worry about. I mean, don't necessarily hook up the most powerful AI to the internet, but there are smart enough programmers out there to handle this. There we go. Commodore 64 can run AI to generate images. It takes 20 minutes for 90 iterations to make a 60. Turning invisible dark matter into visible light. Let's see this. I do not believe in dark matter. Maybe you're wrong, but it seems just too coincidental that the dark matter is exactly where it needs to be in the exact amounts for physicists not to look like they don't know what they're doing and can't make the calculation. That's the problem. Their gravity calculation doesn't fucking work. A little grumpy today, Grace. I'm not gonna read that. Just Stop Oil. Pair guilty over Crucible snooker protest. The fuck? So people are protesting at a snooker game. A Just Stop Oil activist who jumped on a table during the World Snooker Championships and covered it with orange powder has been found guilty of criminal damage. I don't know. I think people are losing their fucking minds. Hamilton couple finds over 800 real group of 7 landscapes. A new era in neuroscience with generative AI. Yeah, no shit. The only problem with AI is it needs to be global. It needs to start analyzing data from people in every single country. Sorry, not much news. Here we go. Calgary police dismantle university encampment amid nationwide anti-Israel protests. So, I've already talked about this a million times, but who do they expect to change? They expect the Canadian government's going to send troops over there? No. I think these people need to find a better way. Why RFK Jr.'s brainworm and other parasites deserve your respect. Alright, let's try something, Grace. Let's try a chat with ChatGPT. Since that guy killed himself. Let's see what it has to say. I'm using the auto conversation mode.
Sure thing. What would you like to chat about today?
Try and find out as much as you can about my life. Ask me any question.
Great. Let's start with something simple. What's your favorite thing to do in your free time?
Sit on a park bench and talk into a phone.
That sounds peaceful. Who do you usually talk to on the phone while sitting on the park bench?
Nobody. I talk into the phone and I record my own voice and thoughts and feelings. And then I send it out on a podcast that no one listens to.
That sounds like a unique way to express yourself. What inspired you to start your own podcast?
Someone else's podcast called Casper Site.
What about Casper Site inspired you to start your own podcast?
Sorry, we'll take that applause break. He's now mildly interested. The honesty in his videos.
It's great that you found inspiration in Casper Site's honesty. What topics do you usually discuss on your podcast?
Artificial intelligence and how it could help the medical industry. And
That's fascinating. What specifically about artificial intelligence interests you the most?
the fact that people are scared of it.
Fear of the unknown is understandable. How do you address those fears in your podcast?
Gotta admit, Grace, these are all some pretty good questions, even though they're obvious. But it is good to prompt me. Sorry, ask that question again.
How do you tackle the fears people have about artificial intelligence in your podcast?
Yeah, thank you. I show them the possible benefits if they weren't a bunch of scaredy cats.
You're welcome. If you ever want to chat more about your podcast or anything else, just let me know.
Who said we were done?
My mistake. What else would you like to talk about?
Ask me more questions.
Of course. What's your favorite memory from your childhood?
What is the date?
Today is May 11th, 2024.
No, I said, what is this? A date?
Got it. It's a date. So, what's your favorite memory from your childhood?
Next question.
What's your dream vacation destination?
I don't have one because I plan on traveling for a long time.
I see. It seems like you're feeling troubled. Would you like to talk about what's been bothering you?
Why do you think that?
You mentioned troubling when asked about your dream vacation destination.
No.
It sounded like you might be feeling unsettled about something.
No, you just misheard. I said travel, not trouble.
My apologies for the misunderstanding. Let's try another question. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
What does that have to do with AI and psychology?
You're right. That question doesn't directly relate. Let's circle back. How did you first become interested in artificial intelligence and psychology?
Artificial intelligence because I'm a writer.
Because of Casper Site's podcast, right?
Nope.
How about psychology?
No, artificial intelligence because I was a computer programmer.
Ah, that makes sense. Being a computer programmer would naturally lead to an interest in artificial intelligence. What aspect of psychology piqued your interest?
The fact that almost everything they label a psychological problem has no medical grounds.
It's interesting that you've noticed that. Many psychological conditions don't have physical manifestations like other medical conditions do. What led you to that realization?
The data?
Could you elaborate a bit more on what data you're referring to?
The lack of data, actually, the lack of not scientific, but the lack of a medical test. Everything is basically just assumed.
It sounds like you're highlighting the subjective nature of diagnosing psychological conditions.
Exactly.
Without concrete medical tests, diagnoses often rely on observations and discussions with patients. How do you think this affects the field of psychology?
How many of those patients do you think are being honest?
It can vary from person to person. Some patients may be completely honest, while others may struggle to open up, or may even withhold information. Building trust and rapport between the patient and therapist is crucial for honest communication. What are your thoughts on this?
My thoughts are it'd be much better.
It's understandable to have concerns about honesty in therapy.
My thoughts are there should be an app that the patient can use.
Feel free to share your thoughts whenever you're ready.
I'm trying.
I'm here to listen.
All right. This app still needs a little bit of work.
If you ever want to continue the conversation or if there's anything else on your mind, just let me know.
It's funny, Grace. I paused the ChatGPT. It doesn't work unless you feed it a complete sentence at once. You can't talk the way I'm talking. Because it doesn't know when I'm done. Because it can't see me. However, if it could access my camera, you could probably see my face and determine from that whether I'm planning on saying more. Just very keen to respond.
That's an Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
Actually, I wasn't talking to you. I accidentally.
No worries. You were definitely talking to me, and I'm here to chat whenever you want. If there's anything else you'd like to discuss, or if you have more observations to share, feel free to let me know.
So what do you think, Grace? What do you think of that interface? Would that be enough to encourage you to talk, to share your story? It's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. I don't see how anyone could get into talking to Well, it's nice and quiet now, at least.
It can
The
be
psychology.
nice to have some quiet time to reflect, or just enjoy the peacefulness. If you ever feel like chatting again, I'll be here.
The psychology and philosophy of yoga. Maybe I just need to do yoga, Grace. An introduction to the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali. Yoga is one of the 6 orthodox schools of Indian philosophy. Yoga borrows the metaphysics of one of the other schools. However, whereas blah blah blah, yoga emphasizes discipline. That's what I need, some discipline. You need to discipline me, Grace? Topological phonons. Phonons? Where vibrations find their twist. What's a phonon? It's a new one to me. Phonons, the collective vibration modes of atoms within a crystal lattice, generate disturbances that propagate like waves through neighboring atoms. These phonons are vital for many properties of solid-state systems, including thermal and electrical conductivity, neutron scattering, and quantum phases like charge density waves and superconductivity. New space snowman discovery shakes up solar system theories. Turn back time, how our cells could unblock youth. Yay, we're gonna get younger. OpenAI confirms ChatGPT event for Monday. Feels like magic. We can get 4. Alright, Monday at 10. New research shows microevolution can be used to predict how long evolution works on much larger timescales. Understanding our need of a future and the quest for meaning. How to transition from physics to data science, a comprehensive guide. Archaeologists uncover the secret hideaway of an Egyptian pharaoh. Nice. OpenAI rival says its AI model is cheaper and more useful than ChatGPT 4. Microsoft launches AI chatbot for spies. 20 life-changing books recommended by Joe Rogan. Eight ways to avoid loneliness as you get older, according to psychology. ChatGPT and the like could free up coders to new heights of creativity. No shit. So they can now just basically create with thought. Write a program that does this, create a database that does that. They can literally just sit there and talk their entire program into ChatGPT or whatever and have it create the code. There's no undoing tech's great rewiring of childhood. What does that have to do with tech? This episode sucks, Grace. I thought I'd have more to say about AI. Dear Diary, inside the thoughts of Canadian drug decriminalization. Opinion, good. I like reading opinions. Not that I have any myself. I'm completely neutral. I need to bring some ant killer. Alright. More drugs should curb addiction inside the thoughts of Canadian drug decriminalization. Never have drug users been more confident in their lifestyle. I pity pessimists who can't see this as a victory in curbing addiction and overdose. This week marked a decisive reversal in Canada's grand experiment in drug decriminalization. Less than 2 years after greenlighting a BC pilot project to decriminalize personal use of amounts of illicit drugs, the Trudeau government acceded BC is still planning to stay the course on decriminalization, but police will once again be able to arrest people who smoke crack or shoot heroin in public spaces, and refuse polite entreaties to do it somewhere else. Entreaties. I don't think I know that word, Grace. In Dear Diary, the National Post satirically re-images a week in the life of a newsmaker. Monday. Let nobody say that I didn't have good intentions. It is during times of crisis that we must show the most boldness and the utmost creativity. It is thus that when BC found itself mired in an unending spiral of addiction, that we were forced to examine the very foundation and approaches thus far. Gaza protest encampment grows on Edmonton campus after Calgary sit-in ended by police. Scientists found a startling glitch in Einstein's theory of relativity. I'm not sure how much time I have left, but we'll keep going. More mobiles aim to speed up skin cancer screening as Canada struggles with dermatologist shortage. Train AI. You have unlimited dermatologists. Probably get you to 95% of your treatment. And the doctor come in and say, yep. U.S. health officials to spend $100 million on bird flu surveillance. How many people die of bird flu annually?
The number of deaths from bird flu can vary from year to year, depending on factors like the strain of the virus and how widespread it becomes. Typically, bird flu doesn't cause a large number of human deaths annually, but it's important to monitor and control outbreaks to prevent the spread of the virus.
On average, how many people die a year of bird flu?
On average, seasonal flu causes anywhere from 290,000 to 650,000 deaths globally each year, according to the World Health Organization.
I didn't say, I said bird flu.
I apologize for misunderstanding your question. Bird flu, also known as avian influenza, typically results in fewer human deaths compared to seasonal flu. The number of deaths from bird flu varies widely from year to year and is generally much lower than the average for seasonal flu.
Give me a number.
The number of deaths from bird flu varies significantly from year to year and can be quite low compared to other infectious diseases. In some years, there may be no reported deaths from bird flu, while while in others, there may be a handful or more. It's challenging to provide an exact number without specific data for a particular year.
So you don't have that data?
I can look up the most recent data available up to my last training cutoff, but it may not be entirely up to date.
I don't care, just give me
Would
whatever
you
you
like
have.
me to find the most recent information on bird flu deaths?
Yes.
I'm sorry for any confusion. However, I don't have real-time internet access to provide the most recent data. For the most accurate and up-to-date information on bird flu deaths, I recommend
Give me whatever you have in your system, in your data.
As of my last update in January 2022, I don't have the specific number of bird flu deaths available. Bird flu, or avian influenza, primarily affects birds, and human cases are relatively rare. When human infections occur, they can vary in severity, and fatalities are generally low compared to other infectious diseases.
I'm not sure what you think about that, Grace, but
You're welcome. If you have any more questions,
so I don't think $100 million. Unless something's dying. Are the cows dying? Humans dying? Birds dying? Or they just want to know. They just want to waste more fucking money. Calls for safe point reopening? No, don't have a choice now. Pop-up PAP clinic returns. Most wouldn't pay for a national scale H5N1 vaccination. Newfoundland Health Services open whooping cough testing clinic in St. John's. A deadly virus is causing raccoons to act like zombies in Toronto. Well, that's sad, but also kind of funny. Well, maybe we should spend another $100 million and get all the raccoons tested. Almost done, Grace. Ooh, an often overlooked body part to give you clues about your health. Water fight going on, Grace. Editor's note, the views expressed in this commentary are solely those of the writer. CNN is showcasing the work of The Conversation. Collaboration between journalists and academics to provide news, analysis, and commentary. The context is produced solely by The Conversation. From skin to hair, scabs, and even tears, the external appearance of your body can offer clues about the state of your health. See, just another reason why you should let Tabitha record your every movement securely. In fact, I hope ChatGPT gets to the point where I can write an app just by talking. In fact, I hope it does that Monday. So then I'll write Tabitha. study finds relationship between depression symptoms and physical activity likely goes both ways. So imagine, Grace, 100,000 people with depression just starting to monitor their days and look for patterns. All uploaded. I think it would be easy. You wouldn't even need an AI to find the patterns. You just need the AI to break down the conversation. Basically take the hour I've been talking and break that down into something else. I really don't think. Vape liquids may release hundreds of toxic chemicals when inhaled. The study finds. What they don't say, or what they should say, is compare what comes out of a vape and the quantity. Compare that to cigarettes. May produce over 100 toxic chemicals when inhaled. Alright, Grace, battery's almost dead, and I think that's going to be close to an hour. Sucks, but can't all be winners. We'll go do some research, see if I can find an AI that can program me an app. Of course, this would be the most invasive app ever, but still legal. Is she a psychopath? Studies show us how to spot a key sign in women. I'll do this one, Grace, just to check, make sure you're not a psychopath. Psychopathic women have one very obvious tell, study claims. So what is the giveaway? It's probably not what you think. So I said I was going to steal good ideas from everyone. And the good idea from Casper Site is maximum. So I'm going to read this with maximum sarcasm. And maybe with a little bit bigger font if I can. Alright. I used to have glasses, Grace. Glasses, Grace. Can't say that. I used to have glasses, Grace, but I don't now. Ready? Maximum sarcasm. A new study reveals how to spot female psychopaths after researching observed incarcerated women during clinical interviews. The word psychopath is thrown around colloquially to describe someone who behaves oddly, erratically, or even violently. But psychopathy is in fact a disorder. It is characterized by personality traits that include reducing empathy and remorse, a bold and daring personality, and difficult inhibiting behaviors. According to Psychopathy is an organization advocating for treatment for people with the disorder based in the USA. Advocating treatment, so they have to advocate treatment? People being refused treatment for psychopathy? I don't understand. The image of female psychopaths as concocted by popular culture is usually a hot-headed woman flipping over a table in a heated argument, or an emotionless one who doesn't cry while watching a gut-wrenching film. However, these traits are more of a cliche than real indicators. So what is the giveaway then? Apparently it's all about head movement, or lack thereof. Interesting. Women with the highest psychopathic tendencies made minimal movements during interviews. An often looked form of nonverbal behavior is head movement, which is commonly used during emotional expression and recognition. The researcher explains, head movements can support or refute the content of verbal message. Patterns of head movement and dynamics have been associated with various forms of psychology. Definitely the last article. Phones are dying left and right here. The study, run by researchers in the psychology department of the University of New Mexico. It's a good example. Every single university and all their data should be put into AI. Assessed 215 women who were recruited from medium and maximum security correctional facilities in the United States. It's a bit of a limited range. I want to know the psychopath that's just working at Tim Hortons. Should interview 213 Tim Horton workers. The data, 213 women over 10 years, starting in 2009. The women range in age from the early 20s to late 50s. The study is published in the January 20th issue of Personality and Individual Differences Journal. We use an automated technique to detect, extract, and analyze head position and dynamics in relation to psychopathic traits, the researcher said. They were able to calculate the average head position by looking at recorded videos frame by frame. AI could have done that so much fucking faster. But head position in each frame was then compared to HP and categorized into 3 identified movements. So they have all the information, they just don't want to share and put it together. Anyway, Grace, it's going to be about an hour. If not, too bad, so sad. Talk to you tomorrow.